This is the S&P 500 ETF SPY one-day reading for January 3rd, 2024. It's currently October 31st, 2023, 11:47 a.m. Eastern Time. The SPY ETF is currently $415.56. That's USD, and the shuffle file for the January 3rd reading was created on October 25th, 2023 at 8:31 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here in the corner. So the overall theme and behavior for SPY on the 3rd, there's an important technical price level highlighted here, guys. I'm pretty strongly feel that it's the same price level that was highlighted around the high here. The science card is also important, and the science card was a cross-reading congruency. The Ace of Swords is a cross-reading congruency. We also have cross-reading correlation here with the 1 month, excuse me, with the 1 year. So my sense is I probably want to get out of that short that I opened in that pop and drop early in the day there. I want to get out of it for a day trade. I don't think I'd want to hold it overnight. I think we probably open higher. In the pre-market, there might be a decline into a low for the day. Hard to say if it's lower than the previous day, but I think by the end of the day, we'll be lower than the previous day. Behavior around the highest high, we have kind of flat behavior near the high. Behavior around the low. The high and the low also seem to be within close time proximity to each other here, which is what you might get with like a flat kind of day or a volatile day that ends flat. And then behavior around the lowest low. In the midst of the decline, there's an opportunity to open up a long position. And I think I probably start accumulating for like a multi-day kind of swing trade. I might start accumulating a long position at some point here on the 3rd. And I'll talk about that in more detail as we get into the reading. But before we go any further, I want to make sure everybody's aware the whole purpose of the channel is to follow through on the rule of karma and transmute the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. Without following through on this rule, my friends, the universe will not allow an individual to continue profiting. In other words, you'll get an opportunity to follow through on this rule, and if you don't follow through on it, you will not have another opportunity. So make sure to follow through on this. The universe will continue to open that flow of abundance through the channel, because the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill, right? So 5% of the profits that you make from each trade should be donated forward here to one of these charities. Just click here on a link and donate. 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel through one of these links. If you can't do it here through one of these links because you're international, Wise is a good way to go. It definitely works. It's reliable. But if you don't want to use Wise, you could also go through YouTube. And then that leaves you at 90% of the money. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you follow these rules, my friend, you're an angel investor of the channel. The universe considers you following through on the rule of karma, and it's going to continue to that flow of abundance tenfold through this channel to you. Just keep on doing the good work. Fight the good fight. Be a part of the army, the growing army of tarot for traders, angel investors donating 5% around the world, my friends. We could really make a difference in the world if we work together. So be one of those good people. Don't miss out on the opportunity, the continued opportunity. And let's get into it. All right, so there's a pretty significant trade here. The Magus card can indicate a big move in either direction, but what you can rely upon, rather than just directionally, what you can rely upon is that there's a significant opportunity here, and that the market is really going to make a move in the direction that we need it to when we take that opportunity. I would say it's got something to do with the Ace of Discs here. We're going to be at lows again. At least day's lows, and I think on a 1 month, we might even be lower here on the 3rd than we were the prior day. We've got the Death card, excuse me. We've got the Ace of Discs card here, which is a lot of price change and an important support level. And then we have like this move to the upside, like maybe out of a low around the open, into like a failed attempt to break through a key resistance around 10 o'clock. And it's a key resistance that it would probably look like we're going to break through, because we failed to break through it once before, and then we falsely established support. So maybe like resistance. So we failed to break through somewhere here on the 2nd. And so around 10 o'clock, a brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a decline through multiple support levels. And that probably takes us to a lower price level than we saw around the open. There's a trade opportunity in there if you want to kind of like make a risky day trade, because it's kind of a wild day here. Overall on the 1 month, we're the science card here, right? And that same price level is highlighted. So I think probably what we do is out of that low, we have like this pop to a drop. Should be like a full retracement and some, but then after declining through multiple support levels into like probably the lowest price level thus far for the year, and probably the lowest low for the year here, there's a cross-reading congruency. We then rally, increasing with momentum moving forward in time. And in here we have the cross-reading correlations to the strife card, which is here on the 4th. So that's where we are in the sequence of events. It's also, I think, interesting, the victory card was the trade card from the prior day, and there's so many like congruencies going on between the 2 days as far as important card information. I think probably this is where the trade is. There could be a trade made here. You could close probably a long position in the midst of a move there if you open up the long position here in the midst of that pop and drop, full retracement and some, right? So you open up there between like 10 and 11, the long position, close the long position in the midst of a breakout midday. And then from that breakout, it's like a false breakout. We then decline with increasing momentum moving forward into another low there between roughly 1 and 2 o'clock. Another prominent move higher between 2 and 3, followed by a full retracement of that move back down between 2 and 3. So it's like a move higher, full retracement between 2 and 3, and then into another low. Like in the last hour, we rally along a diagonal trend line, but that ends suddenly with a fast sudden move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility taking us into a low there at the end of the day. There is a high and a low correlation here at the end of the day, so I'd expect some sort of volatility. But my sense is that we are lower here at the end of the day, or maybe overnight. I think we're lower here at the end of the day. There may be like a peak somewhere around the close or near the close, but I don't think it'll be a high. As far as the high is concerned, I think the high is probably, it's hard to say, guys, on this one. It's a little wild, hard to say. But there's a peak here. There's at like roughly 10. There's a peak at roughly 2. probably a peak around the close. So I closed that long position there. So one thing that I didn't used to really pay much attention to, it's kind of like a newer part of the system of SO meta-analysis, is like these secondary correlations that are sometimes very indicative of things. Like, so on the 1 month, a correlation between the trade card, which is with one of the trade cards, which is the lust card, it correlates to a trade here on the 4th. What's interesting is that the lust card also appears on the 4th. So it's kind of like a secondary kind of cross-reading congruency, which I think I'll start indicating with kind of like freestyle translucencies. So I think probably what I would want to do is I'd want to get into a long position for a multi-swing trade here around this low here. I'd open up like a partial somewhere here in the beginning of the day in the midst of the lows. And then at the end of the day, if we're lower, then I would open up more of a long position for a multi-day swing trade. I think we'll probably open higher, but we may open lower with a big move to the upside. It's a little hard to determine. But overall, I think it'll be a bullish start to the day. Actually, I think it'll probably be a bullish day overall. Hard to say, it's mixed. We'll get into that in the next reading. Sneak preview was a big move higher, pushing the upper end of a range higher on a one-day chart scale. And that's the S&P 500 SPY ETF for the 3rd of January, my friends. Let me know what you think. If you like this information, please subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And as always, don't forget to follow that rule of karma, my friends. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one.